and welcome to the show for today. This is Sean Miller, the soccer betting genius, and I just want to show you I am at the pool. It doesn't matter though. I'm ready to work for you because that's what I do every day. I grind. It's all about soccer for me. Love talking it. Excited to be announcing a new enterprise next week, so make sure you stay tuned. Um, make sure you are liking, subscribing, ringing that bell, following the videos, live videos, free plays, premium plays, going big time here. Getting hot on these premium plays. Make sure you're on that. Put the link here. I'm going to give you a promo code right at the bottom there, Sean50GA6, 50% off all premium plays using that link right there. So copy and paste that in if you can. Everything's in the show box below. So, make sure you're looking there. So, all right. We got the $1,500 risk-free first bet with Caesars. If you win, congrats. If you lose, you get it back in the form of a free play up to $1,500. Video winners 15 to get the deal. You can use those links wherever you are right here. What are today's locks, brother? Seattle Sounders. Yeah, look, Bill. Excuse me. Let me pull these games up here. Not that one. Let me pull this up. Technical difficulties, live TV. Where is it, man? Where is it? There we go. Live television, always technical difficulties. All right, let me pull this up for you. We're just gonna get right into it, and we may be joined by Rick Fortenbaugh here. On him when he can come on here. All right, so here's the MLS plays for today. Here's the MLS games for today right here. FC Cincinnati, NYCFC, Toronto FC, and Columbus Crew, Chicago Fire, Philadelphia Union, Seattle Sounders, CF Montreal. And that line is actually a little bit. It's a little interesting here. LA Galaxy, Minnesota United, LAFC and Dallas, and Portland Timbers and Houston Dynamo. So the game I gave out this morning on the free plays was the Seattle game. I think, to me, this Seattle, I talked about it today. When you look at who's not playing for Montreal, top scorer Georgi Mihailovic, he's scored 7 times in 13 games. Thomas Geraldo and Bjorn Johnson not playing. I mean, look, they got to go. They got thumped in that Canada Cup, whatever that is. It's like the U.S. Open Cup, but for Canada. So there's about 12 teams. But they played. Where are the results here? Montreal won 2-1 against Charlotte. That was one of the plays he gave out over the weekend. I really liked that play. Scored right after halftime. But this Seattle team is starting to move up the table a little bit here. And look, Montreal is in 6th right here. Seattle is in 13th. Seattle's very good at home. Montreal gives up a lot of goals. Montreal's given up 28 goals in 16 games. So for me, I'll take Seattle at home minus 125. I'm on that right away. I haven't played much. Man, this total is crazy. I'm going to look at something here. Both teams less than 2.5 goals, 5 out of 7. Seattle less than 4.5 cards, so under. See if cards are here. Under 4.5, both teams have had less than 4.5 cards, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 7. To me, I'll take a chance right there. That is probably. Hold on, let me get this off. That's probably a very good play right there. Over 4.5 or under 4.5 cards. You get it at plus 116. It's interesting that both these teams have under cards, and then the over is 4.5. Over 4.5 is minus 159. I think that's just a generalization. Some of these books will do that. But Seattle 3-0 last time. Seattle 4-0 last time at home. Seattle 2-1 at home. Seattle 3-1 at home. Seattle 3-0 at home. So 3 goals. Their last 5 home games, 3 goals, 3 goals, 2 goals, 4 goals, 3 goals. Immediately, what do? I go to total goals for Seattle Sounders, over 1.5. Montreal gives up goals like a sieve. They score a lot of goals. And they give up a lot of goals. So I think over 1.5 at minus 117 is pretty interesting here. I think that's pretty good value. We got some people coming out to the pool now, so I'm gonna be maybe if they want to come on the show, we'll see if they want to come and talk a little soccer. Hi, maybe not. So Seattle over 1.5 goals right there, I think is a very good play. But I also like the money line. I think Seattle money line minus 125. So there's a few different ways you could play this, Bill. Over 1.5 goals by Seattle. I think you could probably play the over 2.5 goals, although both of these teams less than 2.5 goals, 5 out of 7. That must be when they both play, both teams. Seattle's without a clean sheet in 3. Montreal's without a clean sheet in 4. Seattle's getting hot. Look at these 2-1, 4-0 on the road, 4-3 at home, 3-0 playing Canada teams, 2-1, 2-1, 2-0. Both teams score a lot of goals, and both teams give up a lot of goals. So I would probably take Seattle. I would probably take the over. I would probably take Seattle on the over 1.5, and I'd probably take under 4.5 cards. All those look pretty good to me right now as we look at some of that stuff. So looks like Rick will be joining us probably in about 10 or 15 minutes, maybe for the last 10 or 15 minutes of the show. He's a big Washington Mystics bettor, and they just keep winning. Bill, I know you talked about the Timbers. We'll have to look at this a little more closely. Um, Portland never loses to Houston. And like never. 2018 was the last time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4-0-3 the last 7. Portland won 3-0 during the week. When was that? Or sorry, on the weekend. Houston beat Chicago, but very bad on the road. Except against the Galaxy. Wow, that's interesting. Houston does not play well on the road. (7-2). Yikes, with a red card. Portland's been pretty decent at home. I don't love playing bad teams, to be honest. But I think, the numbers are pretty good here. This is a late game, by the way, 10:30 at night. They're expecting some goals in this game. Excuse me. Over 2.5 is 157. Look, when here, this is an interesting stat. When these odds are around this number, the expected chance of winning is 59, but Portland usually actually wins it at 73% of these odds. So if Portland is favored by this amount, around this amount, they're usually pretty good. They win 3 out of 4. So yeah, I think maybe you could take a shot there, Bill, and maybe go with Portland. I think that's not the worst bet ever. This Toronto Columbus game, I don't. Toronto stinks. Columbus stinks. But you know what? Like, it's not even like they stink. Like stink. Like they're in 23rd and 24th place overall in the whole MLS. I just look at it, as a whole. Look at it as a conference if you want. They're 12th, 11th, and 12th in the conference, but they're like, 5 points out of 7th, or 5 points at 3 points out of 8th. So they're they're not they're actually not that far outside of a playoff spot. That's the MLS for you, to be honest. All right. I don't love the game though. Let me see this here. I think the two other early games, Union and NYCFC, I do actually kind of love, a couple of those. I do like those teams. I actually gave them out today as part of my premium package. The NYCFC line has been moving a little bit. To Miss Cincy trip. Let's see. Thiago Martins and Santiago Rodriguez. Yellow card. Meh. This is I sometimes I think this the MLS lines, and we talked about this on Monday with AM Plus Money. I think the MLS lines are a little bit in reaction to, last game. I don't think you see this movement as much for some of the other leagues. I don't know why it is. Like NFL, if the Rams lose or the Broncos lose, or, because they're the best team in the league this year, or if the Bucks lose. If the Bucks lose week 6, and they just, they look like crap and they just don't come out. I mean, they're not going to be an underdog in the next game. It's Tom Brady. Like, they're going to be back. It happens. You play bad games. Like the NYCFC, they were this close to a draw, 90+6. So, I think sometimes in this league, they just react to these games like so much, and people kind of go the opposite way. Philly money line, I won. Tell anyone. Yeah, look, um, they. It's the same thing. Like this Philly Union game was plus two something the other day. Now it's down to plus 85. I mean, you know, look at the standings. The Union's the number one team in the East. They have one loss. I mean, they have 8 million draws, right? There's 7 wins, 1 loss, 8 draws. They got 29 points. If they turned 3 of those draws into wins, they'd be clear by now. That's 6 more points. They'd be on 35 points. They don't score a lot of goals. They have 22 goals in 16 games. They've only allowed 12 goals in 16 games. On the road, they're very good. They got their 1 loss. They've only allowed 7 goals in 7 games on the road. They've scored 11. That's pretty good. They shut these teams down. Cincinnati is the second to worst team at home. 12 goals scored, 11 goals conceded. So they do concede them some goals here. I think, but just getting back to these lines, I don't get it. The line is moving, but then you see those things and you see those numbers, and over 2.5 goals in this Fire is minus 112 and under is minus 121. Like, those numbers would tell me the under is a lock in that game. I think the Union are going to shut them down. Maybe it's 1-1. Maybe it's 1-0. The Union aren't scoring 3 goals in this game. The Fire, I know the Fire aren't very good. Look at this. The Chicago Fire have only allowed 5 goals at home. They've only scored 6. They've only allowed 5. Chicago's actually been better, not better, but they give up a lot more goals on the road. But they've actually been they've only given up 5 goals. The Union don't, and the Union don't give up goals. Like, why is this over? Why is this over my 2.5 at minus 112? I don't understand. Yeah, Abdi. That was I think they did. Cincinnati team total under. The only problem is that if you go under 1.5, it's going to be minus 175. It's probably going to be an under. You got to lay a lot of juice. Maybe I would put that in a parlay with something, Bill. I think. They do score some goals at home. But RNYFC, once again, RNYFC has only given up 5 goals on the road in 6 games. They've only scored 5, but that just tells me they go to play a defensive 1-0 game. They try to win the game 1-0, and sometimes they give up a goal, and it's 1-1. But I don't think. Yeah, man. But dude, Foxy, come on, man. They got a red card. They missed a penalty. Oh man, that game should have been. But they played. Yes, they got the draw. And Abdi, I believe NYC did. Philly Union did outplay them, and I think they're a lot better at home. But it's once again, it was a 1-0 game, right? Remember, it's 1-0 until the last minute, and then they score on a penalty. They score to make it 1-1. So they're trying to play these 1-1 games. Pick up the points on the road, and then pick up a point on the road, and then win your home games, right? And you'll make the playoffs, and you'll do well. But the thing is, it's then why is the Why is the over under? Like here, the over in this game is 2.5. We just looked at this, right? NYCFC scores 5 goals. They've scored 5 goals on the road. They don't score on the road. Cincinnati's bad at home. They only have 3 wins and 4 losses. I mean, this looks like a 1-0 game to me. 1-0, 2-0. I mean, maybe it goes 2-1 and it goes over, but like I don't know why the over is minus 175 in this game. I just don't understand that. And this line has moved crazy. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with this. 2-1, 5-0, 5-0, 2-1, 4-1, right? These are all from last year and COVID year and 2019. So yes, and this Cincinnati team was bad back then. Different team, they're a little bit better this year. So I don't know. This stuff means stuff to me sometimes. I will definitely look at that. The former games, but once again, this Cincinnati team is much better this year. These this is, you kind of throw them out a little bit. That Cincinnati team was atrocious. This team now is much better. I thought the odds were crazy for Atletico Mineiro playing early in Guayaquil with the heat. I lived there for 6 months, could hardly breathe most days. Foxy, man, you got to tell me the weather report, man. You guys text me and hit me up on Twitter and say it's 150 degrees in Guayaquil. It's going to be hard for them to breathe. And then I would have kind of backed off that game. But still, Mineiro still should have won the game, even with a man down. They missed a penalty in the 88th minute. They still could have won the game. But, they go home with a 1-1 draw next week, and, we'll see. So, but it was a good game, and that's a good result for you. The Sounders, I already talked about that game. The Timbers, we already talked about that game. This Galaxy game, I don't even know what to make of this Galaxy team anymore. Got some music. I just follow some Minnesota people on my Twitter. I know they stink. So, and the fans are always mad at them. But they're the same team. Look at this. One team has 24.7 wins, 3 draws, 5 losses, 18 goals allowed, 16 goals given up. Minnesota United scored 17 and allowed 19, so they've allowed a couple more goals. But you see what those couple more goals do. 8 losses, only 5 wins and 3 draws. So that's why they're in 18 points. So these two teams played last month. It was 1-1. Last year was 3-3. 11-7. It's got to be close to the playoffs, I think. And LA Galaxy here 1-0. So we got Rick here, Rick Fortenbaugh. He's going to talk to you about some of these crazy parlays that he hit. So I know you hit on that live bet on you. I was telling him about these live. I think we said this. Those live parlays you do when the team. What do you try to find teams that are like up by 2-0 or something like this, right? And then live bet them to get it down to about minus 105 or something like this.
Yeah, I actually hit one the other day that was like plus 180. It was like 5 games in Sweden.
Yeah, because you put the Malmo live bet you bet Malmo live at 1-1, right?
Correct.
And then they ended up scoring.
Yeah.
And then obviously the other thing is you're a big proponent of backing the Mystics, and they just annihilated the team. I know Bill was on here talking about Mystics in first half -4 the other night, so they went 18, right?
Yeah, it was over in the first quarter. In fact, they played their subs in the fourth quarter. So they're a weird team. I mean, I got some money, not a lot, but I got some money on them to win the title because when they're playing well, they're as good as anybody in the league. It's really, they're not always like that, but maybe they can peak at the right time. Speaking of parlays, you wouldn't believe what happened this morning.
Yeah.
This is a good one. All right,
What?
so I'm a little groggy, I'm not really awake.
Wait.
And
Hold on. Wait. What'd you say? Your microphone is a little.
let me try a different location.
Okay. Not. Oh,
Is that better?
yeah. That's better. All right.
Let me go outside. Maybe that'll.
Rick's gonna. He's not joining me by this pool, but he might be joining me by the other pool. They were out by the. They should have been out by the pool yesterday in Guayaquil. Apparently, it was really hot there. So,
we got a good connection now, or what?
yeah. Yep. That's good.
All right. So I wake up this morning and I accidentally placed the $50 bet on the Yankees. I thought
Today?
I was just checking. Yeah. I thought I was just checking it out, and I placed the bet with. Cancel it because I was like, I didn't mean to place the bet, and it just hit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they won 5-3.
5-3, and they both. It's Judge hit a 2-run homer in the first, and Stanton hit a 3-run homer in like this second or third, and the $50 pet parlay paid off $210. Was all a mistake.
They always say this when you're at the track. When you go to the track and you put a bet in, and sometimes it's the wrong bet. And you people are like, oh, like that guy rolled, just cash it back in or whatever. And they always say keep it because a lot of times it'll come out. So like instead of canceling it, you just keep it. It's just meant to be or something like that.
Right. Well, they said I had 15 minutes to cancel it, and apparently I missed by like 2-3 minutes, so they refused to cancel it. So.
It's pretty cool when that happens because they're refusing to cancel it, and then all of a sudden now they owe you $210. So it's just like, all right, that's fine. Thank you for not canceling this stuff. I never understand that. Like, was the game going at that point? Or no.
No, this was before the game.
So. That's what I'm saying. Like, if the game didn't start, I never understand why they don't just let you cancel those bets. Like, as long as the game didn't start. But,
yeah. They said you can cash it out, but then when I went there, they said this bet isn't eligible for a cash out.
Yeah, to me all the time. They do that to me all the time. Yep.
So that's one for the good guys, I guess.
Here we go. We got some luck today. So if you're following. We were talking about a little bit about these MLS teams.
Okay.
Let me see if I could. Hold on 1 second. Okay, we were talking a little bit about these MLS games here today. FC Cincinnati, this NYCFC game. NYCFC yesterday was minus money there, like minus 105. Now they're up to plus 120, and not really sure why the line is moving like that. And the same thing, the Philadelphia Union game was plus 210 or something like that. And now it's plus 185. I don't know if. And I know the Sounders line was a little higher, it's minus 125 now. I don't know. Did you have a look at any of these games for tonight on the MLS? You got any plays on those with your sports book?
Well, the Union's playing Chicago, right?
Yes, Union are playing Chicago Fire. Yes.
Yeah, I have money on the Union. Doesn't Chicago sting? I mean, they're not very
I
good.
mean, I think so. I don't think they're very good. So I just I'm
I
not
went
sure.
with I went with the Union there to answer your question. I don't know. Just seemed like I like the odds. They can beat that team.
Yeah, I think, and the Union, uh, they're in first place. They only have one loss. They have a million draws, but
Right.
you know, Fox was talking about Bale's LAFC. Do you know he can start? The 1 year deal work. I believe he's eligible to play whenever they play the Derby. Let
Right.
me put this up. Um, Whenever they play the Derby, he can play. Matches. Not July 4th. So he'll be able to play July 8th. So he won't be. I don't think he'll be available for the March or the July 4th game against. Oh, that's the Galaxy. I'm sorry. He won't be available for the game on July 2nd against the Whitecaps, but he will be available for July 8th in the LA Derby, whatever they call it. But yeah, so I think that'll be interesting.
Do you have anything working in the MLS tonight?
Yeah, Bill was talking about the Seattle and Portland. I like Seattle a little bit, and we kind of like talked it through. This Montreal team was really bad on the road, and they give up a lot of goals. They've given up 28 goals. Seattle is very good at home. Let me pull this up again. So, I think Seattle scored a lot of goals the last couple of times at home. It's been 3-1, 2-1, 4-0, 3-0. So Seattle's goals over 1.5 is minus 117. I think that's actually a really good play.
Seattle to
So
score 2 goals. Is that what you said, or more?
I think Seattle to score more than 1.5 goals, I think works. And then also Seattle, the money line on Seattle, I think is pretty good.
Okay. Well, it's been my lucky day so far, so I'll run with you on that one. I
And
guess I should go play. I guess I should go play the lottery with a pick six or something.
Foxy, the MLS doesn't finish till the end of the season, so Bale's contract. I don't know if it's the rest of this season and then next season. It's for that, but it's probably something like that. I have to look. Let's see. They're talking about the Houston Dynamo going to Portland because Houston's been really bad on the road. I think they don't score a lot of goals, and the Portland's been really good at home. So Portland minus 136, and then you see the full time. Portland over 1.5 goals is minus 148. Like that's probably when I would put a parlay.
Okay.
Let's see what else we have. And then there's the Copa Libertadores.
Where I've been looking at my three sportsbook apps, and none of them have that listed. Where you get betting on that?
Which book are you using?
Well, I looked at DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars. None of them have the Copo, whatever you call it, listed.
Let me check. I don't even know if I can get in my apps.
I mean,
Uh,
maybe it's up. Maybe it's up now. I don't know. but the one had it listed, but when you click on it, it didn't give you any games.
Um,
I mean, it had like the Brazil B League, but it didn't have that. It was weird.
you don't want to be. You don't. That's Foxy forte there. You're gonna have to ask Foxy about that Brazil B League.
I
I
didn't.
don't.
I'm just
Uh,
saying it was there.
uh, he probably knows it though. You can bet handball. Let's see. View all Champions League. Oh, okay. So if you're in FanDuel,
hmm
go to soccer and then
Right.
view all. And it should show you like the 75 leagues, and then scroll down to Libertadores, and then it's got the games listed.
Okay. Well, maybe I just was doing that wrong, but I thought I did that. I'll do that as soon as I get off
I'm in
here.
PA. Maybe it's different because you're in Jersey, but I'm a, I'm actually I'm out in North Wales, wrestling powerhouse, North Wales. Like, they're pretty good in wrestling, right?
You mean Counselor Eye?
I don't know where do the kids from North Wales go to school? I don't even know where I am. I'm in North Wales, Pennsylvania, somewhere. Like I'm way out here, Montgomery County or something. So
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
I thought
Uh,
North Wales is pretty good team. But these games tonight, I know Foxy is more the guy. He could probably give us a little bit better idea of what it is. But I do Palmeiras playing here against Cerro Porteño. Palmeiras obviously the best team in the league in Brazil. At minus 150, I think is probably a decent play. Um,
this is in the league or the cup.
this is the round of 16 for Copa
Okay.
Libertadores.
Okay. Okay.
Um, you know, Atletico Talares is minus 108. I think AM Plus Money was talking about that game yesterday. He actually Flamengo is plus 128 at Tolima, but I believed he liked double chance Tolima or draw, but that's minus 155. I don't know if I would actually do that now. The lines come down a little bit. So for me, River Plate is on the road at plus 114. I think you could maybe kind of take a chance on them against Vélez Sarsfield. That's an interesting game, but the Copa Sudamericana. There's 4 games tonight. That's the Copa America again, or Copa
Well,
Libertadores.
Flamingo has been playing all that well, right?
No, they haven't. They haven't been playing well, and they're playing like these teams. The Brazilian teams have played a lot of games, so it's just they've just been really kind of getting beat up. You see, like now the strongest is minus 124 against Sierra. This line is weird. That line moved big time. Deportivo Cali. You got to go with the Cali team. If you're a big Narcos fan, Cali's got a good squad out there. And then there's Santos. I think sometimes you can't go wrong if you take the Brazilian teams, but this Sierra team has been struggling. So the strongest is at home. But I think in these games tonight, if you take Palmeiras on the road at minus 150 and maybe parlay them with, I don't even know, the Sounders or LAFC. Palmeiras, who's winning the league and the best team in Brazil, and LAFC, the best team in the best team in MLS. That parlay to take the 2 best teams in the league against teams that aren't very good is plus 186. I mean,
I like that.
yeah, that's decent. Decent money. And you could probably get even more money with the Sounders. But I was looking at why not just take the 2 best teams on the docket tonight? Palmeiras is the best team in the best league. Oh, here we go. He said he cashed on Grêmio and Cruzeiro last night in the Brazil B League. Grêmio and Cruzeiro were both in it would be like if it would be like if Everton and Aston Villa got relegated and went down there, you know, and just started smashing teams. That's basically Gremio and Cruzeiro. I know they're both pretty good. Um, that's the thing. You can kind of do that, but it's tough because you have to be able to. You got to be watching the games. I mean, you got to watch this show, but you also, we obviously don't talk about every game, so you gotta make sure you're listening to some experts like Foxy here. But yeah, there's these other games here. I'm not, there's Chapecoense, obviously everybody knows because of the plane crash, and then all the stuff that happened after that. I know they're a pretty good team as well, but yeah, it's interesting. The strongest play in La Paz. The altitude is why they're favorites. Sierra will hammer them in the return leg in Brazil, no doubt. So yeah, you're going to play at altitude tonight. So that's the line is a little bit weird, but Sierra goes, and Sierra's not even playing that well in Brazil, but they're going to, you know, the altitude could be could be a factor today, or it's going to be a factor. So they play about 10,000 feet up, I think.
Wow.
Where La Paz, Paz's altitude is 11,893 feet. So
That's like twice Denver.
Yeah, it's an issue. So yeah. I know when the teams go to play in Bolivia and they play the World Cup qualifiers, they're always playing there, and they're always the other teams are always complaining.
Sure.
But if it's like when the U.S. used to play Mexico and they play in Dallas, and you're like, well, why? And they're giving, like they wanted to sell tickets instead of playing. And then the last time they played, remember they played in like where they played. It was El Salvador, one of those teams. They played in like Denver, and they had like 20 inches of snow the night before, or something like that. And it was like freezing. That's what you're supposed to do,
right?
But,
well, they play a lot of games in Cincinnati, right? Ohio or whatever.
Yeah, because it's basically the middle of nowhere. Well, I don't know. Have you put any bets on the Wimbledon at all? A couple of the guys have been. I know. I've been looking a little bit, but it's just so many matches. It's just one match.
Yeah, and the people. I don't know much about tennis, but the people you think should win, they're like in these early rounds, the odds are terrible. They're like
minus. And then
the
ones that aren't the odds that are half, the odds that are half decent. It's these guys like nobody. I mean,
right.
But they could win, they could lose.
Yeah. Nah, I don't.
Are you gonna? I don't know if you're gonna have any action on this big England women's against Switzerland as they get ready for the women's. England over 1.5 goals minus 265. We're gonna try to get it. We're gonna try to get a women's soccer expert on here at some point and talk about this, because starting in July, like July 6th, there's every continent I think has a national tournament because the World Cup is next summer. So once again, I mean, it's something where these you can win money if you know what you're doing. So, but
yeah. Well, I did have the Australian woman over Portugal the other day. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I parlayed that with something I don't even remember. But it wasn't a big bet, but it did hit. So
when you're doing these, when you do these parlays like on NFL games as well, like when you do if the Rams are up like 17-0 or something like this, and like go through, will you try to do that and use this strategy and some of these other sports going into the fall maybe?
Nah, I only do it in soccer.
Okay. Because it's like if you're up 2-0 in the 60th or 70th minute, it's 90 85% of the time, the team's gonna kind of go clear.
See, my theory too. I don't know if it's true or not, but I just don't think the odds makers are sometimes are as sharp at soccer as they are with the NFL. I mean, they're all over the NFL. They're good. They're really good, and sometimes I think their soccer stuff's a little off.
I agree 100%. I mean, this is why I say this sometimes with the people that are watching the show. I'll say, listen, there's a million football shows, a million. Obviously, we're really good. And the NFL show we did last year was really good. We were going to hit like 70% of the show. Like we put our baseball people good. But this soccer stuff, there's a limited amount of people that are as knowledgeable about this as the people we have on. Me, you, I know you watch a lot of games. Kyle, Frank, these guys all watch games and AM Plus Money. These guys, that's all they do. They just watch soccer games. They watch games from Saturdays. We're sitting there at 7:30, getting up watching games all the way till the afternoon. And I'll throw a college football game on afterwards, but not until the soccer's over. But I don't think there's that amount of people that have this kind of knowledge about the game and the insights and kind of some of this stuff, like where you're saying and it filters to the sports books. And I think the bettors can take advantage of it sometimes. Like if the team's up 2-0 in the 75th minute and you're still getting them at minus 590, you put a couple of those. That's what that's what Rick does here. Minus 590. Some of them are minus 1,000. But you put 3 or 4 of them together, 4 games, 5 games, and all of a sudden it's a plus money parlay or it's minus 105.
Right.
It's just the same, and you already have a 2-goal advantage.
Correct.
Every once in a while, some team will come back, but it's not, if it's hitting, 75% of the time, you're winning 3 out of your 4 bets, you're making money. So it's just a different way to do it, and it's just kind of a different strategy. And that's kind of, when I tutor the SATs, it's all about strategy. It's not about teaching you what 2 plus 2 is. It's about teaching you, what's the fastest way to do 2 plus 2 or whatever. So what's the best way to make money? There's 100 different ways to do it. So we're going to try to give you all those different ways. So
I remember last year with the Olympics. Remember, now there was a classic example where the bookmakers really didn't know what they were doing. Remember, we both made some money there because they don't know much about track and field, and we were able to pick up. I know I picked a couple girls who won, and they had the line all wrong. They should have been, they should have been like minus 700, not minus 200.
Anything Moon should have been minus 1,200 or minus, like she's a lot. There's
Right.
no way she's losing, but people didn't know about her yet on the international stage. So it was like a little bit like, I'm looking at these odds. I'm like, man, we both wrote stories about her and we both watched, a lot of her races because she's from Trenton,
Right.
where we both cover stuff for her. And we knew like there's no way, like nobody was beating her. And the bookmakers had it at like it started at like minus 250 and went up to like minus 300 or whatever. But minus 250, if you parlay that with another minus 250, you're getting close to even money. And that's what we did.
As I recall, they had Sydney McLaughlin wrong too. She should have been favored by more than she was. So,
yep.
I think we both parlayed them together, and it was a nice little.
It played about plus 180, I think.
Yeah. For two people who were huge favorites. I mean,
there was no way, like you said, there was no way Moo was going to lose, and McLaughlin only had one competitor. So, like, you basically, you have like an 85% chance of winning this parlay, and you're getting it at plus 180. So I think that happens in soccer. Like some of these lines are a little bit. I agree 100%. Like the football, there's no way. They're all minus 6. If you go to any book, it's minus 6.5. The over under might be different by a point or half a not a point, half a point. You might you might see one book is minus 6, one point is half. But you're not getting these, they're all minus 110 if you take the point spread. The money line might be a little different, minus 150, minus 145, but so for your parlays, but soccer, you see it all the time. So
Yeah. Well, like the World Championships in track are in 3 weeks, but I'm assuming nobody's going to post any odds on them. I think it's just an Olympic thing for track.
sometimes they will in the worlds and the diamond meets and stuff. The thing is too, like that's the one thing about tennis, I think sometimes in some of these other meets that aren't majors, if you watch enough of tennis or rugby or just sports that like in America, like everybody grew up watching baseball, everybody grew up watching football, hockey. Like
Sure.
hockey's not as popular now. Everybody knows basketball. Like you're not if you're telling, hey man, the Warriors are going to be a good team this year. Oh, thanks. Like thanks for the information. Oh, watch out for that guy Giannis. He's a pretty good player. Like oh, thanks man. Like everybody knows that. Like everybody knows Tampa Bay is going to be good in football this year.
Sure.
Everybody knows the Yankees were going to be. I didn't think they knew they were going to be this good. But you could have picked the playoff teams before baseball even started this year. You could have picked 8 of the 12 or eight, however many there, or 10, I guess. Or I don't even know how many teams in the playoffs anymore. You could have picked them before the play. In some of these sports, you just don't. I know, like Manchester City is going to be good, but like you just don't know. Like Manchester United is making signings, Arsenal's making signings. These teams are making signings, and you don't like track. I just don't think the books are as sharp with them, and you can make money on all this.
Do you know a place that bet on the Diamond League? I haven't found it.
I'll look.
I've never seen it. I mean, I'm not saying it's not there. I don't know.
Some of the European
I'd love
books,
to bet on track.
some of the European books will have it. Like you can bet on netball here. West Coast Fever against Melbourne Vixens netball. Unibet might have it.
Okay. Well, if you find a spot, if you find one, let me know.
Yeah, some of the books that started as European books sometimes will have that stuff. Betway. Um, let's see.
I haven't, the main ones like DraftKings, FanDuel, all them. I haven't seen any track listed since the Olympics. They did the Olympics and then they shut it down. So
Yeah, you know what happens a lot of times. I think with some of those like the bigger books. I mean, this is just a theory. I don't know the fact, but I think sometimes won't be watching Wimbledon now. The two best Brits are out. Oh, my man, Migaluch is happy then, man. Two Brits are out. I think they're not worried about those, and maybe they should listen. We could get beat by some of these players if they have a little bit of an edge in some of these sports that we don't really know. Whereas some of the books that are trying to get a foothold or trying to gain some traction from the big book, I think sometimes we'll say, you know what, we're going to alter some of these things, bring them in for this stuff, and then say, all right, if you could bring them in, then maybe they'll stay and they'll play the NFL and we'll do this stuff. But I think that's kind of how it happens. But
yeah.
I think sometimes like Unibet will have those and everything. So,
Okay. I'll look into it.
All right. So that's
Yeah.
for today. We're going to have, make sure you're doing Caesars Sportsbook promotion up to $1,500 first bet. Must use video promo code Video Winners 15 to get the deal. Be sure to follow the Max Wagers Network all day. Midday Money, Sean Higgs. Morning Wood, Allie Burns, 1-2. Just Parlays, Chris King. 2-3. Back to the window, Scott and Scott. 3-4, just me, or just me. It's me at 4-5, and then Nick, Tim, and Lenny. Remember, on Friday nights, I'm on, and on ESPN, you can listen all over the place on the TuneIn Radio app. And tomorrow, we're going to have, today we had Rick's new name is the Parlay Betting Maestro. He gave him a name like Brian Rowe. Tomorrow we got AM plus money. Friday, Nick, that's going to be down the shore. We're going to be doing some stuff in North Broadwood, probably. So, all right. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, and remember at the bottom here, if you're looking for winners tonight on the MLS, use this promo code Sean50GA6 to get 50% off all the plays today. So we will see you soon. My winners and whiners page right here, but here's the 50%. Sean50GA6, 50% off my premium plays using this link right there. Copy and paste that link, and there it is. Type that in instead of a scroll. Made it easy for you, right? So you don't have to scroll and figure that out. So that's it. I'll have 3 plays on MLS tonight. 3 games I like. I gave you some here, and I'm not started since I've started doing this stuff more. I've been watching a lot more of the MLS, so I've become a little bit more. I don't know what the word is. Cultured in it, knowledgeable. Anyway, I like a couple of the games. All right. I will see you tomorrow.